Right, hi everybody, we're live. Claire's just going to share the link.
Waiting for it to show up, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm just refreshing, so it should be.
Thank you.
There we go, it should be up there now.
Just do a little refresh. Yeah, lovely.
Looking all festive. Just wait for Claire to share on her page, everybody.
Sorry, won't be a moment.
Oh, no rush. No rush at all. By 2 weeks' time, Christmas will be over.
What?
Or is it 3 weeks?
Please say it's 3. You got to give me...
Oh, yes, it is. No, it is 3 weeks. There you go. I'm wishing my life away.
Sarah, don't do that to me. Right, thank you. I'm streaming now. Let me come out of that and get you back up on my screen, and then I'm with you. Hello.
Hello. Right, brilliant. Well, let's just do our normal intros, shall we? Claire, do you want to go first?
Thank you. Hello, my name's Claire, for those of you that don't know me, and I run Insight Hounds. We work with sight hounds in the Midlands, and we specialise in X-racing greyhounds.
And I'm Sarah from Berkshire Dog Training, and based out of Reading in Berkshire, and run one-to-ones and classes in the Caversham and Reading area. And well, we thought at the end of 2023 we'd do one final live, didn't we, Claire?
We did on Christmas, and it looks like some of us have gone a bit more Christmassy.
I don't know what you mean. I really don't know. You should see the outside. I'm not one of those that got the whole house decorated. It's all very tasteful with like lights and stuff. But yeah.
I don't believe you. Look at behind you. You must be one of those people. You are one of those people.
Maybe I am, but secretly. But yeah, no. So yeah, all set for Christmas. So our tree is up already. We're 1st of December. Has to be December. And obviously I've had our dogs for 5 years now, so they're pretty accustomed to it, but they still, feel a little bit unsettled when the tree goes, because it goes in our bay window, so kind of that's where their beds go normally and stuff. So they're kind of looking at us, and they get to feel a bit unsettled with the change and stuff. But after a while, the tree's there and it's kind of in its place, and they just kind of get settled, and the beds kind of get moved under the tree, and it's just great for Christmas photos.
Oh yes, I bet that's very cute.
But
very
cute. You've got Izzy. What do you do for Christmas with Izzy, with your new dog?
Well, to be honest with you, we had greyhounds for years, and we always had a tree. And then when we adopted Oscar, we sort of went, we're just not going to put one up, because we know it's not going to work with Oscar. I love him dearly, but we sort of went, no. So
is it because of the size of the greyhounds? I'm just curious. Is it because of the size of the greyhounds, or?
No, we got 3 in the house by then, so there was less space. There was more dog beds and less space for a tree when we adopted Oscar. But also Oscar was known as sort of the wild child when we adopted him. He was quite into everything, and I don't think a tree would have lasted very long. And the size, with all the extra dog beds for 3 dogs, we didn't have the space to sort of pen it off. And I knew that he would just eat baubles or pull tinsel or something. But then as he's got older, we probably could have gone with a tree this year, but then we adopted Izzy, and again, I just don't. We do Christmas. We put lots of lights and decorations, got like little trees, and we've got bits and pieces around the house, but we just don't go as big because of the space and that sort of thing. And it works for us and works for our dogs, and I don't have to.
But it's like, you don't know what Izzy's going to be like, do you? You don't know what her Christmases were like before she came to live in her forever home with you guys.
Well, I know she was in a kennels, and and that's been her life until she came here. I know she's always been in kennels, so it's home's a strange environment for her, let alone let alone us start to bring half the outdoors in
Yeah.
as well. So,
Exactly. Well,
so
I mean, I work with younger dogs as puppies and stuff. So, been talking to clients about preparing the house for the curiosity of a youngster, and whether it's a youngster or a rescue that you're bringing into the home. I know we've mentioned before in last year's live, but I'd like to just mention it again because just having the tree in place for a bit, maybe just even as short as an hour, just so that the dog kind of adapts. We kind of put the tree up so the dogs do they do feel a bit unsettled, but it's there so they can kind of see it, kind of go, oh God, that thing's up. Sarah's going to have her bling out again, and then just see how they cope with with the baubles and things. I don't have anything too low, just in case, but just see how they adapt to it. Really, I think is was really good advice that we had from Amy, wasn't it, with when she was preparing with her two dogs.
definitely. And I think things like if you are going to move the beds like you have, is move them in advance of putting the tree up, just so it's not everything in one afternoon for the dog. So if you can move the tree for move the beds first, then put the tree
Yeah,
up, then a bit later put the baubles on, and do it all a bit more gradually, rather than it just be,
yeah,
oh, the house has suddenly sort of, my environment's changed dramatically to
yeah.
what it was a couple of hours ago, is definitely the way to
Yeah,
go.
because I think, and this is when we were talking about why we wanted to do the live this year, because we gave some really good tips and about games and other bits and pieces last year, but I think we felt that we weren't really talking about the emotional change and the impact of change, on our dogs during this busy time, and how things can, for us, we're just frantic. We're, my other half's a bit poorly at the moment, so he's a bit coming down with a cold, and we might be a bit run down, so our emotions might feel, so our dynamic and energy levels might feel different. So that dogs might be very sensitive to that. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Claire.
Oh, 100%. We're covering some of this in class last week, and I actually said to the class, I said sometimes Christmas is such an emotive time for various reasons. It can have really, really positive associations, but they can be challenging times for various people for different reasons, or just sometimes we talk about the dogs getting overwhelmed, but we can get overwhelmed, and a lot
Yeah,
of people, a lot of emotions. And I said they're definitely allowed to use me as an excuse, that if they need a bit of time out to bring their emotions back down and want to take the dog on a walk or go sit with the dog quietly in another room,
yeah.
just say, my trainer said it's really good for my dog to have a break from everything for half an hour, and I need to go and sit with them, because I think it, like you say, it is important. I think last year we covered a lot of the poster Christmas stuff about the tree, toxic food, and all of that sort of stuff, and we will touch on it again. But I think that in the change in our emotions and the novelty that's there with Christmas is quite important to
Mm.
recognise as well.
Yeah, I think, when you say, the change in our emotions, but I think also just the change in our routine, I think is
Oh,
actually,
100%.
because we're suddenly maybe out a bit more. So, okay, what does that mean for our dogs for being left maybe more than they were used to for the past 9, 10, 12, 11 months? So, how do we cover that? How do we make sure that they don't feel too unsettled? Obviously we've got visitors coming that we may not have seen since last Christmas. So, and so there's those kind of routine things, because dogs do well under routine. We talk about it, don't we, Claire, in our training? Their dogs learn by association, and routine is an association of how they process things. So, so my antlers are escaping. I might have to change pairs.
I
But
can't believe you got backup anglers.
maybe I have. But I think it's that change of routine. I think I
Yeah.
know I'm really conscious of, because I've got, I know my routine. We're trying to keep the morning walks as regular as possible, but maybe they might not get a second walk. We'll do some more mental enrichment and stuff with them, because the weather's rubbish, or I'm just kind of running in from one place to another. I kind of, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I think I agree. If anything, we kind of have the it's the opposite for us, that we do go out most days. So the dogs have kind of the routine of the walk in the morning, then they'll have a few hours where they are on their own, and they do get that sleep and chill out time. And especially with Izzy, she's fabulous, but she wants to be a part of everything. She wants to be
Right.
involved. So we're in more over Christmas, and she's like, right, what
Yeah.
are we doing now? What are we doing now? And one of the things for me is one of the most important things for helping the dog is them actually getting some sleep. And it's making
Right.
sure I find the time for, is it to actually be able to go and have some sleep? Because if not, I know
Brilliant.
her emotional level is going to go higher and higher and higher,
Yeah.
and then she's going to become overstimulated and a bit more lively. So it's just making sure that if we are at home more, I'm building in time for her to be able to chill out, or a space where she can
Get
chill
it.
out in that quieter time. So
Yeah.
it's not just all like fun, 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 and then she's absolutely
It's fact, yeah.
exhausted and
See,
overwhelmed.
even just the two of us having this conversation, we've realised that we've got the two, the differences, from that
Yeah.
perspective. So, I think that's really helpful for people to think about. It's just bringing awareness to the situation, really, so we're mindful of
Yeah,
what we're doing and how that routine might be changing.
definitely. And I think if you can, where possible, and I know it's not always practical, but where possible, to keep some of those walks at the same time and keep the food at the same time
Yeah,
as much as you can, that's really going to help them, because that's sort of anchor points for your dogs throughout the day, and it gives them some normality in a very
oh,
unnormal, that's bad English,
yeah.
but in a, in a,
Well, I
a
mean,
different
do
situation.
you, well, I don't know what your Izzy and Oscar were like when the clocks went back, but my goodness, at 4 o'clock, because my dogs normally get fed around 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, like clockwork, they're looking at me going, come on, it's dinner time. And I'm like, well, according to my watch, she's still got an hour. And it's so fascinating to watch when you kind of think about it, because, dogs, they just knew that their tummies were rumbling, and even though they got their breakfast slightly earlier, the routine had changed through just the clocks going backwards. I mean, it really can be quite powerful, can't it?
Yeah, definitely. So I think it is good to be aware of that. The other thing when we're talking about being out and about, and another one for me is Christmas always generates the dog walkers that aren't the standard dog walkers. Saying on my morning routine, there's
Yeah,
always the man that runs, the dog, the Dalmatian down there, the guy with the pointer and the spaniel.
yeah,
We have like a little community on our morning walks of the same people that we tend to see. And
yeah,
Christmas normally brings out a lot of people taking a dog to a park that don't often take them, or they take them at different times, and the dogs are suddenly like a load of dogs off lead that aren't probably
yeah,
recall and isn't there, and
yeah.
things like that. So we try and avoid the main parks around Christmas as well, and do some more
Right.
road
Yeah,
walking, and then we'll take time to like hire a venue where they can go off lead
yeah,
or something in between Christmas and New Year. But I think that's useful to be aware of, that the parks are going to be full of different dogs if you have got a reactive dog, or
yeah.
a dog that's not too
Yeah.
sure
Well,
around
and
other
I
dogs.
bet there's going to be a few in the pub. I mean, I did my 30 days in November of activities, and one of the posts was, an activity is to take your dog to the pub. And
Yeah,
people get love, when you get family around, I don't know about you, but I always go for a good walk around Christmas, Boxing Day, Christmas Day, make sure I save some
exactly.
space for all the food and goodies I'm going to have, and the dogs. And so, but also there might be a pub visit as well. So, my Davy, I was able to take to the pub, no problem. But these two, it's just not an option, because I just know it's going to be too busy. But I guess people, if they do want some help, maybe with getting their dogs to be on a mat and things like that, we can obviously help. It's obviously, despite it being close to Christmas, there are still things we can do to help, isn't it? Because it's getting those
Yeah,
dogs settled in
definitely.
those environments, can't they? Again, it's a change.
Yeah, it is. And again, kind of with the group that we do, with the different groups, we do settle as a big one of our exercises, because I
Yeah,
think it's just so valuable for holidays, days out, trips. And been doing more and more of settle with distractions going on, and changes
yeah.
to help the dogs with those sort of environments. So
Yeah. Well, I
definitely
did.
really important.
I had Eddie at one of my with Portsmouth Walk on Saturday. Eddie the
Oh,
greyhound, who I've introduced Clare to, and yeah, so I made sure I had a big blanket for him to lie on.
yeah, the
Yeah,
greyhounds do like the nice soft bedding. Yeah.
he definitely did. He definitely did. So that all worked out really well. So good. Okie
Oh,
dokie.
lovely.
So I
So
think,
just on, you mentioned visitors. I think that's worth
yeah,
touching on as well,
yeah,
because visitors, again, I was saying our dogs are so used to we're such a dog savvy house because we've had dogs for years, and we've had newly adopted dogs and things like that. So we're always like, right, make sure the door's shut, the gate's shut before the door opens, and this
Yeah,
gate's done, and this, and we don't leave anything at dog nose
I
level,
hear
and
you.
things out on the side, and you get the visitors that come around and have a drink and put it on the side, and before you know it, you've got a dog drinking their drink,
Yeah.
or just, I mean, they're not. Yeah, it's just being aware and leaving things like mince pies, which,
Oh,
talking about toxic, are highly can be
yeah.
really dangerous. And if they leave a mince pie at nose level, that can easily disappear. So you don't
Yeah.
want to be doing emergency vet trips on Christmas Day. So just being
No,
aware
I
of your
was hearing
visitors is
hearing a
useful to know.
story about a client last year who had that very same experience. Six mince pies
Did
got
they?
disappeared, and yes, a vet trip afterwards. Luckily, the dog is all fine, but yeah, you just, sometimes, you don't actually know what's under your tree, do you? So it's people's presents
No.
and stuff. So you feel a bit mean saying, what's under your present, when they come with a gift as a visitor, and you're like, okay, just stand there. I've got to go through this protocol with my dog, because actually, I'm doing some training still, all that goes to, that goes out the window likely, because you're kind of super excited to see people, etc. So you're all highly aroused, and the dog becomes highly aroused, and it's all goes a bit mad, doesn't it, and stuff, and then you
Yeah.
forget to put, ask what's up in the present, or put the drink down, like you say, and it's just, all it can be. So I think people just need to have a plan, I think is the best
Yeah.
advice, isn't it, Claire?
Have a plan, and just be aware of, yeah, I'm not saying sort of stalk your visitors, but just be aware if they nip to the car, they might not think to shut the dog gate when they go out to the car and things like that. So it's just,
Yeah,
it's just being aware of it really, as much as anything, and like you say, planning for it.
yeah,
So in part of the
exactly.
planning, we were saying enrichment can be, you can do some preparation with enrichment as well to give your dog
100%.
some distractions. So having things like licky mats ready prepared, or a
Yeah,
Kong or something like that. So if you have got people around, and they're going to be in the living room, can you pop the dog in a kitchen with a licky mat and just let the dog chill out in there, so they can put the
yeah,
mince pies down, and you don't have to worry about a
yeah,
dog coming in and swiping them. And I don't know, a lot of people I know in the classes have got stair gates and things like that. So if there's a stair gate between the rooms, can you do that so the
yeah,
dog's still part of it, but they're not actually
yeah.
in the room?
And I've been, just as an FYI, I've actually been doing that. So we've had a few visitors in this week. It just worked out. We had the chimney swept, and we've had the boiler man here, and all those kind of more
Everything
fun.
ready for Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been getting stuff ready so the dogs don't associate the lick mats with just, when we go out for a walk, or if we when we come back from a walk, or we after they've been resting for a bit. I've done do it with visitors as well, so they've got no association with that thing other than it's just fun and enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because obviously, because they learn by association, if you give a dog something and they're maybe worried about it, then that actually can affect the thing that's supposed to give them the fun and joy, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So
I
you can
think
practice
another,
now.
being that, yeah, having that separation and being away from it,
Yeah,
and yeah, and that positive thing, yeah, that can all be prepped, like you're saying now, getting it in place. Well worth doing, ready
yeah.
for the big day.
What were you going to say? I was
Just,
about to interrupt you.
no, you're fine. You mentioned about the emergency vets, and actually we were again having a conversation in class, that I've got a lady who's newly got a fairly newly adopted greyhound, and she's never taken
Hmm.
him to the vets, and she's saying, I don't really know where it is, or what to do, or where to park. So
Oh, good
part of
shout.
her project between now and Christmas is to just go take the dog into the vets, say hello, give him some treats, give him that positive association, but also so she knows where it is, where to park, what to do. We had a kind of he's okay, but we had an emergency situation with Oscar last week. But knowing where I needed to go, where I needed to park, if you're in that situation, so from experience, you've got quite that heightened state of emotion,
Yeah,
that knowing what to do, where to park, how to go, what the setup is, whether the doors push or pull, all those little things is quite
yeah,
valuable to know. So
definitely.
And Oscar's doing well. He's got pneumonia, but he's doing good. He's responding
Oh,
well
he's
to
a,
the antibiotics.
he's a
That's
trooper,
quite
that dog.
positive.
He
He
really is.
was
Yeah.
really is.
Is
But
Izzy's keeping
bad
him young,
word.
isn't she?
Oh, he absolutely adores her. He's following her around. Yeah, they've become a right little troublesome twosome. They're fantastic together.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's really lifted him. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Fab. So we've talked about change, we've talked about visitors, we've kind of touched on food a little bit and stuff, but obviously we, went through
Games.
yeah, I think we've got to end up party games is going to be mandatory, I think, at some point in our house.
100%, 100%. And I'm gonna talk about Amy's advice from last year because I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I am going to be
Yeah,
doing this. My dogs are having a couple of new toys. They've had a couple already. They are getting some for Christmas, but I will be wrapping some of their existing toys up in brown paper without sellotape or anything like that. Just a bit of brown paper, which has come in a package that I've had a delivery in. Wrapping that
yeah,
round, Izzy absolutely adores sort of ripping paper up and to have her own toys wrapped up is going to be a great experience for her, and it's going to cost me nothing, but it's going to give
yeah.
her that enrichment and those games. So that's on my dog present and games list.
Yeah, they don't know. I mean, it's nice to get new stuff, isn't it? But at the Portsmouth Walk on Saturday, I made crackers for the dogs, so using toilet roll, and then put some treats in there, and then I had brown paper as well, and wrapped them up, and then just kind of scrunched the corner. Oh my goodness, both the humans and the dogs loved it. They really did.
Yeah,
We had a couple. We had a little schnauzer who was like looking at it, going, "I'm not sure about this. I can smell it's
oh,
nice, but I don't know what to do," because she was only 5 months old. But with a little bit of encouragement and support from her guardian, it was destroyed, absolutely destroyed. So we're win-win there
oh.
from Bonnie.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I love the cracker game, the box game.
Yeah,
Everybody knows that. Big
yeah,
fan of the box and enrichment. And I think we'll have some sort of the licky mats, the long lasting chews, and things like that in, as well as the games for sort of
yeah.
funner, high arousal games. But then we'll have things that are
Yeah.
more calming games as well to go along with it.
Definitely, definitely. Well, it sounds
Shuffle
like you
mats
and I've got
loaded.
Christmas sorted.
Excellent. Excellent.
with our
And
with our
hopefully there's some
exactly, and I
hints and
think
tips in there for people.
100%, 100%. And if they've got any questions on anything we've said, then they can get in touch, can't they, with either of us, and
Definitely.
we'll do our best. And by all means, listen back to the live from last year, because there's much more information. We just focused it all around that, but we thought that we might also, just to be a little bit indulgent in ourselves, and well, I said to Claire, well, why don't we think about, and share what we want to celebrate for 2023, maybe one or two things that we're kind of, we were excited about doing, and reflections on it. And what did you say, Claire?
No, I don't want to.
So I was like, okay.
But I suppose that is a reflection, and it is something because I've been backed into a corner by you to do this. it is
You sound
it
like
is something
Scrooge.
no, it's good for me, and I will bring it back to positive. Go with me for a moment. But I think sometimes I can spend quite a lot of time focusing on. I always think I can improve, and I know I can, and I really want to grow as a trainer. And it's one of those things where you never stop learning, you never stop growing. But I think sometimes I'm reflecting on what I could do better and how I could do better, and things like that. And yeah, actually reflecting back on the celebrations is a really positive thing to do. And one of my celebrations is working. I've got such a fabulous network of dog trainers like yourself that do push me out of my comfort zone in the best possible way, and get me looking at different things and different ways I can be a better dog trainer and be better at what I do. So something to celebrate for me is definitely
Yeah,
yourself and,
that was
and,
on
and
my
some of the
list
other
too,
dog trainers
Claire.
we work of
Definitely.
behind the
Yeah, because
scenes.
it can be
So
quite
very
lonely,
important.
can't it?
It can, yeah, it can be. So having people that you can bounce and share ideas and developments and the good stuff and the things that we want to do better. And we're always sending each other links to different training and courses and, oh, have you seen this article and this
Yeah, we are.
to help us become better at what we do. So
Yeah, well,
no, I really
I think
appreciate that.
you've definitely got some fans out there, Claire, because we've had a post on my page that said reflection is great, Claire, but don't lose sight of what you are fabulous at.
Oh,
And that's from Angie. So there you go. You've definitely got
oh,
some
that's very
well-received
kind of Angie.
fans out
Thank you.
there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So all good. So yeah, so I had yeah, absolutely. The network just
What
makes
about
life
you?
so much easier. Yeah, the network makes so much easier, and I've got some really good people locally as well. That I'm actually going for breakfast with some of them on Monday morning, which is not great to see people in person as well, because obviously you and I don't get to see each other very often, do we? But yeah, I was thinking, what would I share? And actually, I'm Facebook was a bit of a novelty to me. It wasn't something I did much in my personal life, but I've actually really, really enjoyed the social media aspects of it. And the 30 days in November, putting my creative head and coming up with the kind of activities and doing something that hopefully people found interesting. And now I've got over 250 followers. Which I only started with, I don't know, maybe 50 beginning of the year. So it's really grown, and I'm really proud of that. It takes, quite a bit of work, as you know, Claire, to kind of be creative. It's not our day job, but actually, getting out there, putting yourself, doing the lives, being brave, doing stuff like that. Actually, I think hopefully people get to know us a bit better and see who we are and what we stand for. And I think, doing things like that, I'm really proud of, because it definitely was very different to what I used to do in the corporate world, for sure.
Yeah, your 30 days is fabulous. If anyone wants to look back on that, it was absolutely brilliant. That's a great thing.
Thank you.
I think the other one for me is just when I set out to do this, it was because I had some help with it from a trainer, and it really changed the relationship with my dog and dogs plural, and that's what I wanted to achieve. And I think there has been several times throughout the year where people have come up to me and gone, oh, this happened with my dog and I knew what to do, or my dog's doing this now and it wasn't before. I understood this situation that was challenging. And those moments for me they're just absolute magic. It makes everything that we do just so worthwhile when you're making a difference to that connection that person's got with that dog, and you're making their life a little bit better and the dog's life a bit better. That's just, I suppose it's lots of little things along those lines that's really valuable. And I think another thing that I wasn't necessarily expecting, that the community side of it. I think you mentioned when you came to the IMDT course and came to one of the training classes, is how much of a community there seemed to be within the classes, and we've definitely grown that in the last 6 months. We've got Facebook groups for members, which we didn't have before. We're doing more collaborations, we're doing other events, and we're doing more socially, and there's a real sense of community, and that I'm finding really, really magical. And we've got people that you just on paper, you probably wouldn't put them next to each other. The ages are very different, the lives, the backgrounds are very different, but they've got this common bond with their dogs. And it's just lovely to have people having those relationships and connections when I don't think that's been as strong in the world lately, the connection side of things. So seeing that in place, especially with COVID and everything's just been magic.
Do you know what? I think, Claire, it's ironic. So Claire and I didn't share what we wanted to be proud of, because we wanted to be more natural and just talk about it with people that can see a bit more about who we are. And it just proves to me, Claire, why you and I work so well together and support each other, because one of the things is very similar. I am blessed to have a venue in Caversham is a partner with a vets that is in Caversham, and I live in and around Caversham. So when I'm out and about, Monday morning, I was out and I met Ziggy, one of my clients, walking. We stood and chatted for a few, like 10 minutes, just about life, Christmas, what things are going on. And just the fact I get to bump into people and hear that their life is better, and I've helped them, and they're keen to do more courses. And Ziggy's the one that, if you watch my Facebook, the owners, Guardian sent me a video of me being very noisy on the other side of the river, shouting across, going and just watching me, and I kind of think, the people that do that, they all my clients are fabulous, but just to take the time, that just means the world to me. And to feel that people want to take that time, Claire, and I'm sure you feel the same, that it makes everything you do worthwhile, and know that you're helping people, and seeing that enrichment and bond with their dogs, and to just bump into people regularly, for me is just brilliant. It's really difficult when I've got my dogs, because I'm there going, hi, I can't talk because my dogs aren't really that friendly, but I then go and put my dogs away and run down the towpath going, hi.
Oh.
But yeah, so I mean, so similar to you, the community and the connections that you build, with people in the area, and obviously with your, your wider, niche, business is just, I think, just fabulous.
It really is. And I think the feedback from the people I work with as well, I think when I set out with all this, I had a set idea, and from the feedback that people give you, you change direction a little bit and build in different things. And I think that's, I'm so grateful to the people as well, because they help make it what it is.
Exactly. But you'll be able to see in the comments that Angie completely agrees with you when you were talking about the community and stuff like that. She's written a lovely little story about her and Roxy and the journey that they've been on with you. So I think for that's just great to see.
We've done. I won't read it yet because I'm on the edge. Sorry.
We've done.
I won't read it yet because I'm on the edge, and I don't want people to.
No. But it's a good moment to wrap it up then, and say, look, I wish you, Claire, and I wish everybody that we've worked with this year a really fabulous end to 2023. And I know you and I have got some exciting, hopefully, things happening in 2024, haven't we?
Very much so, very much so. We might have to bring that into the live in January, sort of share some of the plans for
just a little teaser.
Little teaser, but yeah, there's definitely, and I think the collaborations and things like that are working well. So I'm definitely hoping to be doing some more of that in the new year.
100%.
As well. But yeah, if anybody's got any questions, any concerns, then please reach out to us. But yeah, have a fabulous, sparkly Christmas, which no doubt looking at you definitely will.
Oh, I'm going to take my should we just swap the antlers? I mean,
oh my goodness me. Yes.
And then the last one, you see, I've got the bells. So there we go. Not to be outdone. So there we go.
And I didn't even have these until I saw you, and then thought, I'm seriously letting the side down. So I need to get.
These are a bit wonky, though, aren't they? They're a bit ridiculous. But anyway, so Merry Christmas, Claire, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
And you. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.